that's the weird thing is I wasn't even like arguing with them. I was
Yeah.
just trying to take like devil's advocate and say, not all people, you can't put that on all people. And just that alone, they couldn't handle. They couldn't even handle that conversation. That's just so. Hi, welcome to Texas Tough Chicks. We're glad you're here. If it's your first time, welcome. And if you're coming back for your poison, welcome back. My name is Gwen. This is Viv, and we are going to be talking about our newly appointed VP that Harris just announced. Not ours, but
Yeah.
the news is, this
Yeah.
Tim Walz. I think you say
Walz,
Walz.
W-A-L-Z, I think is what it is. But
I mean, at first, let's just address the Harris
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah. How she was
First of
just
all,
a crowned queen.
yeah, and I'm kind of wondering, like, what happened to democracy? Have you noticed that no one is talking about democracy anymore? Like, no one in the media. That was their mantra for like
Well, but
months
the
and months
no,
and months. Democracy, democracy, which we aren't. But that was their thing. I think the
no, there's
democratic
still.
process of electing someone for your primary as a
Hmm.
party,
Hmm.
in a primary, basically, it's not an
Hmm.
election when you go to convention, but basically took that away from all of the candidates to just basically anoint her. So
Right.
that democratic process is completely out the window. And of course,
Hmm.
now the media doesn't even address democracy at all.
Well,
Democracy isn't
except
a thing anymore.
no, they're still saying that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, even though
Well,
we are not a
I haven't really
democracy. We
heard
are
that
a
much
revolution.
anymore. Like they
No,
kind of
they're
got
still
off
saying
that a
it.
little. Are some
I
of them
read
are
it.
still saying it? Okay.
Yeah, I read it in
Okay.
today's local paper
Oh,
today that,
nice.
that's
Nice.
like, oh, there's, one side saying that they're a threat to democracy and the other side saying they're a threat to democracy. And I said, no, the only ones that are saying it now is mostly the Democrats saying it against Trump, and I'm going,
Oh, wow.
first of all,
Yeah.
we're not a democracy.
No, we're not.
We're a republic.
But it's interesting that they have a double standard, that they totally
Hmm.
throw that out the
Hmm.
window. They totally, want to scare everyone in America that's ignorant and thinks we're a democracy. They want to
Right.
scare everyone into thinking that, oh, we're not, we're going to lose
Yeah.
our democracy. And yet, when it comes to something democratic, like electing someone from a
Hmm.
convention floor to be your
Hmm. Hmm.
candidate, they
Right.
throw
Right.
that completely out the window. It's no big
Oh, yeah.
deal, right? They just
Hmm.
totally anoint someone. So
Hmm.
who did that? Who's they?
Yeah.
Who were the ones who did this?
I
Right?
don't know. I don't
And
know.
so I mean, I'm glad. Actually, I'm really glad because I think she will be very easy to beat because if you really hold her feet to the fire, you really look at all of her voting and her records and what she did to get to the top. And, I mean, like there's
Hmm.
so many things. There's just one thing on top of another with her. I think there's a lot uh, that we can, go after as far as, during election time.
If you can actually get it out there to where the people who are on the other side will listen. Because one thing that I ran across recently, do you remember how often she uses the phrase about to see what can be unburdened by what has been?
Oh,
She
yeah, right.
uses that phrase a
The
lot.
stupid,
That's
like
straight out of
nonsensical mantra that she uses. Yeah.
no, that is actually straight out of the Communist Manifesto. That
Oh,
that is
wow.
exactly
Well,
what Marx
well, I
talked
don't
about.
know the Communist Manifesto, so I don't know that. I
I've
don't
got
think
a copy
most
of it,
people
but
know this.
well, this guy just, like I said, I
Wow.
just got this article and he wrote it.
That's
And he
disgusting.
said it's this phrase, which he repeats all the time, is not mysterious. It's not esoteric. It is occult. It's Marxist and Luciferian.
Wow.
Because even they're talking about Lucifer sought to see what can be unburdened by what has been. God had perfected the perfect order and the perfect plenitude, but the angels had no free will beyond their first choice to accept or reject. Lucifer, in his pride, rejected to see what can be unburdened by heaven.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so she's a
Kind of
communist.
little insight into her soul, isn't it? Like
Hmm.
kind of that
Hmm.
dark insight into her soul. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
And you know what? Waltz is no better. He's
Oh,
no better
oh,
because
he's
he's
so
also
okay.
communist.
Okay. I have so much on him I have so much to talk about him. First of all, let me just tell you, as a small town girl, okay, for him to come out and say he's like some hillbilly that, he had a like a graduating class of 20 something, and that just makes him some kind of like, I don't know, small town uh expert or whatever.
Right.
BS on
Right.
that. Okay. I hope I pretty much know that everyone in Texas minus, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin, right?
Right. Yeah.
Not Fort Worth, I'm sorry. Houston and Austin
Mm-hmm.
will
Mm-hmm.
see the BS in what he's trying to do. I don't know if you saw he was wearing a camouflage baseball hat at some point. Like this man, if you go back and all you have to do is do a quick Google search on him and what he said, he is a liberal idiot. He's so far past, like he's so far
Yeah,
into
he's
the
way
liberal
to the
world.
left.
He shouldn't even claim to be from a small town. He has no idea. Like just because you're
No.
born in a garage doesn't make you a car. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
just because he at one point in his life was in a small town, that doesn't make him a small town man that everyone can
No.
relate to. He wanted to
Well,
put tampons in the boys' locker rooms.
he did. He
Okay.
did.
So
He did.
gross. Like, and talk about
Yep.
weird. This man is
Well,
weird beyond weird. And you know what? The party who is all about being weird, that's all okay to be weird and unusual and strange, right? All of a
Yep.
sudden, they want to label someone. The only reason why they do that is because their candidates are so freaking weird.
Yeah, it's always that way, though.
You
It's like
use it on
whatever.
them.
It's whatever they are doing is what they call our side.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's like if they're screaming about Trump being a racist, it's because they're racist. If it's
Right. Exactly.
he's a Nazi, it's because they're Nazis. If he's
Yeah.
a communist, because they're communists. And people need to wake up and see that because they don't.
And it's just so I'm so irritated with his, stealing valor because of his lying
Oh, yeah.
about his ranking in the military. Oh,
Mhm.
that is,
Yeah, he
sorry.
bailed
That
out
should
before.
disqualify him right there. I
Yeah,
mean,
and they're attacking JD Vance, who has a splendid record in the military.
and
So, and this,
I'm liking him more and more because
yeah,
he's
he's a good
like
guy.
Trump. He doesn't give a crap, he'll say it like it is. And I'm glad
Yep.
he called this Tim Walz out on this small town, I'm the good old boy. I know when you're
It's just
such a
like,
piece
I'm
of
sorry,
crap.
it was just like Joe Biden, that he's Lunch Bucket
Oh, yeah.
Joe and, from Scranton and all the other crap.
Yeah.
He left that place. He
Right.
didn't live that
They're
place.
so polluted by the
Mhm.
liberal ideology of Washington, D.C. It's like,
Mhm.
don't even try and fool. There's not anyone in Texas minus our, liberal stronghold places. No one in
Mhm.
Texas that falls for that BS.
Mm-mm.
We all can see it a mile away.
Yep.
You say,
Yep.
oh,
Yep.
well, I graduated with only 20 something people. Okay, so
Yeah, big deal. Big deal.
what does
I don't
that
know.
mean? It means
D-
nothing to me.
You know what I heard about him today? Actually, that when he got married, apparently he'd been living in China for a little while for some reason. I don't know why. And
Yes, I
that he
heard this.
picked his wedding date based on the event at Tiananmen Square. The date
Yes.
of that event was his wedding day, and he spent his honeymoon
Yep.
in China.
Oh, that's totally a small town. Like,
Oh, yeah.
don't you know everyone from small town Texas? We
Goes
totally,
to
like, we love going to China for our,
Yep. And that's
honeymoons.
just
Yeah.
it
Or a
goes
small
right.
town anywhere.
Mhm.
Colorado, Arizona, small town anywhere. Think about
Right.
it.
Right. And then it goes right along with Bernie
Gross.
Sanders spending his honeymoon in Russia. So it's like, come on, you guys,
Oh, gosh.
you're
So
just disgusting.
gross.
You're disgusting.
I love the
But I've
black
got
people that are coming out and saying she's not African American too. I just
she
love it.
never
There, that
was.
really pisses them off, actually.
But you know what? Here's the thing. She never was. Her father is from
No,
Jamaica
right,
and her mother is from India.
right.
And her father's family had slaves on a plantation in Jamaica. She's not African American. She's not American, other than I guess she was born here. But the whole point is everything about her life is
Yeah,
a
she's
fraud.
American, I won't go there, but come on. It's like this whole, it's appropriating cultures, and I hate that anyway.
I do
That's
too.
just
I do
so
too.
ridiculous to
And when
appropriate
yeah,
someone else's culture when, and
mhm.
just to use it for your benefit.
Right.
you know, I get it. I get it. Like that. I really do understand. Like the women of color are like, yes, there's a strong woman of color. You know, I
But
get
she's
that.
not a
That part I get. But don't be fooled by her. Like she's married
she's
to a
not
white man. She
she's not a
has white
strong woman.
stepchildren. She's never lived in the black world. She's always put herself in a white situation because that's
Yep.
what she does. She uses that to get herself. And look at, she just picked one white old dude to replace another
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
old dude. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, come
Right.
on. But no one
Right.
sees through this. And then she uses fake accents and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah, when she was in the
pick, and then she picks the phony baloney, valor thief to, be her running mate. It's
hmm
such an indicator of where we are in America.
I
Like
know it.
that they could even withstand. But of course, the media is going to back them up.
Oh yeah.
And, okay. And then I love that Trump pointed out, yeah, so she's got a couple thousand in in a facility that has echoing chamber where it sounds really loud. But he's like, but I'm drawing tens of thousands of people.
Oh,
Like,
that was something else that came out today. That event she went to recently, they said, a guy that just was a computer tech, he said most of that was AI created. He said, 80 something percent of that crowd was not there. He said that
wow.
because he started, looking closely, and he said the people that, all had their cell phones up, supposed to be recording, like they were going like this.
No, how are we going to know? We won't know this whole AI weirdness
I
that
know
we
it.
have now. How are we going to know what's real and what's not real?
Except you do have people out there like this guy who said, he knows AI, and he said,
Yeah,
yeah, 80% of that was AI.
yeah. Well, and what is she bringing to the table? What does she bring to the table?
Lies.
She's a lawyer, okay, but I even looked up her stint as a lawyer, and I mean, like
hmm
really practicing lawyer. I think it was at like a year or
Yeah.
maybe a year and a half.
Well, and she
And
put
then
she
she
put.
basically worked the political scene all the way up.
hmm
And
hmm
I mean, the reality is she started off with Montel Williams. Like that
hmm
is like kind
hmm
of her,
hmm
beginnings of being out in the public.
Yep.
So she has craved like politics. That's been
Yep.
her thing,
Yep. 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 hmm
just like
hmm
Biden,
hmm
and worked her way up. And I mean, there's, things about her sleeping her way up or whatever. But I mean,
Right.
I don't care about that. I,
Just look at, okay, again, look at what she's done since she's been vice president. She was put in charge of the border, call her the czar, whatever, I don't
yeah,
care.
I don't
She
care.
was
Don't call her the
put,
czar. She
yeah,
was in
she was
charge of the border,
right.
period.
And she didn't even go to the border. She went to El
And
Paso,
she
which at that
admitted she
time was
didn't go to the
thousands of
border.
miles away from, yeah. And she said, well, I haven't been to England either, whatever it was.
Yeah,
But
Europe. Yeah.
but she was so far away from where the actual stuff was going on the border, so, and then she never went back. She never went
Yeah.
back.
No, she admits she didn't go to the border. That's why she got irritated at the reporter, that one guy.
But
Um,
she finally did go to El Paso, and like I said, at the time, El Paso was not having issues like Del Rio and Eagle Pass and all this stuff that was
right.
actually having problems. So she didn't go into the fray
Oh,
at
no.
all.
No, she didn't want to. I mean, let's
And
just,
then, oh
the
no, then she
reality
had
is
to.
they want to, and then the stupid Tim idiot, Ballard stealer thief,
hmm Yeah.
he's the one who, in his own state, Minnesota, approved that everyone gets a driver's license. Why?
Yep.
Why? You tell me why. Why is that important that an illegal human being in our country needs a driver's license? The only reason is that they can vote with a driver's license because that's
But
considered an ID.
you can tell
Yeah.
how he acts, that he's just. And
Oh
I
my gosh.
wonder.
Talking about how they act, did you see when they were on stage together? I don't know where it was, and their spouses came up. Now, okay, I have to say, Kamala's husband came over and gave her a kiss. Tim's wife reached over and shook his hand, and then realized, oh wait, that's wrong. And then she gave him a hug and a pat on the back, like you're a good little boy, you're a good guy. Like don't get too close to
Really?
me, you creep. Who knows? Like who knows what he's all about because he's so into this weird gender thing and being progressive, being proud of being progressive, and saying that that's basically a moral side, which is so weird to me. Like what is wrong with him? I Embracing anything that is on the uh destroying family values. Like
hmm
he's totally for, full-term abortion. Like he has this weird like smile that makes you think he's an old grandpa. Like he's like
He
2 years
creeps me
older than
out.
me. Like come on. He's got this weird like, but it's like more like the creepy grandpa smile, like there's something else going on behind it. So he knows how to do the politician, like, hey, I'm just middle of the road. I love it when they started to, like, when he first came on, they were just all saying, he's middle of the road. They saw a whole
Oh, yeah.
montage of all of them stepping into line and saying, he's middle of the road. He's middle of the, what the hell? Anyone who
Yeah,
thinks a
no.
baby can be partially born and killed, that's no one in the middle of the road.
Nope,
That's
not at
an
all.
evil person. There's been
It's
so many
bad.
situations I've been put in where I know exactly where that person stands, which is the
Mm-hmm.
polar opposite of me.
Yes.
They have no idea where I stand. They assume I'm on their side.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in so many of those situations where I am kind to them. I
Mm-hmm.
respect them. I can work with them daily. Don't have any attitude
Yep.
towards them. I don't take any revenge out of it on them or
Right.
anything.
Right. Right.
And yet I know if at one moment they found out where I stood,
They
they
would
would turn
crucify
on
you.
me in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we got a fun time coming up ahead of us this election. I'd say Tim Walz is the opposite of Texas tough.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the opposite of small town, and don't let
Mm-hmm.
him fool you
Mm-hmm.
because he is just BS from head
Yep.
to toe.
Yep.
But we need you, and we all need to be Texas tough, and especially as we come up on elections,
Yep.
voice your opinion, tell your friends, do your study on who's the
Mm-hmm.
best, candidates, and let's not let this country go down the tubes.
No. Well, I have one little thought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering once the convention rolls around if Kamala is actually going to be the nominee because I think there's stuff going on in the background that she'll get to the convention and all of a sudden they'll go, no, we're going to pick somebody else. And
Ooh, that's good. I think we should leave everyone on that.
yeah, anything can happen.
You're
That's what I'm
right.
saying.
Anything can
Nothing
happen.
surprises me anymore because they
Exactly.
will do anything, anyway, anyhow to win, and that's all they care about.
Oh yeah.
Power, and money. So,
So
so
stay
get
Texas
tough.
tough, and let's keep this country Texas tough also.
Yeah, yeah, and constitutional.
Yep.
So we'll
See
see you
you
next
next
time.
time.
Bye.
That's
He
signing
is.
those
Oh yeah,
laws.
he's all into the transgender stuff
Mhm.
and all the other stuff against children.
I wonder why his
So
wife is just shaking his hand. Hmm.
mm,
Hmm.
things that make you go.
Hmm.